Hello everyone! It's Tuesday and it's time. Does my setup work here? So last week I had some troubles and everything was a little bit heavy on the system. So questions first. Do you hear music? Because I played around with that. So we have two people around. So I played around where I thought that I don't want to talk into the void. So what I did is that I brought in an app that is called Pretzel, which is copyright-free music, and you can skip tracks using also the chat. So what you can do is you can type into the chat. Let me just do that very quickly. Skip track, and with this you can basically skip one track here. If you're interested in what commands are available more in the chat, you can always do command help. It is the last week is first of all that I bought this domain, which is today-i-learned.dev, and for the people that don't know, is basically that I do blogging for a little bit, and what I do is that I write down all these tiny learnings that I have on a constant basis. And now over 2 and 2.5 years, this is a quite extensive list here. So, and what I thought would be cool is if we would have a URL available, which is today-i-learned.dev, where people can just share what they learned. And then maybe I'm thinking a little bit of if this could be something like a little Reddit or something which is based on web technology and which is then a kind of a collection of tiny learnings for web developments and such. And what we did last week was that we had this Next.js application here, and we implemented Firebase auth. So what you can do with Firebase basically has a bunch of features available, and it comes also with authentication. And so what we did is that we implemented GitHub authentication. So what you can do now here is that you can do, you can log out, you can log in, and it's working with GitHub. And you see here now that I'm logged in, it shows my email address. And what I would like to do moving forward is that I maybe would like to start implementing a voting mechanism on top of this page here. So what you see here is a list of Today I Learned posts. Currently, what we did 2 or 3 weeks ago was that we had a list of RSS feeds that were really tied to short and quick web development learnings. So what we now could do is, I thought, is that we could bring in some voting mechanism here, and then we could bring everything into the Next.js application that we have around. So I would just say, let's have a look at how that could look like. So what we can do now is here that I'm here logged into my Firebase console, and what we have here is that we have something available that is called Firestore. And just to be very honest here, I haven't used any of that before. So for me, it's also pretty much new land here. So let's just dig into this and let's see what we can do with this. So what we see here is Firestore. I know that this thing does things in real time. So what I thought what we could do maybe at the end of today is that we could also push that already up to Vercel. So in case you don't know what Vercel is, so Vercel is this Vercel.com probably. And what Vercel is one of these new shiny and fancy hosting providers. And Next.js is basically their framework. So I assume that when we have something running, that we could quite quickly come up with something that already runs and has a voting mechanism on top of it. But let's dive into Firestore and how that actually works. So for that, I'm gonna go into the Firestore documentation and let's see how this whole thing works. So what we would have to do is first we would have to create a Cloud Firestore database. Okay. So I'm heading over back to my... Do we need... Yeah, let's go with the real time here. I'm not sure if, if that's really needed, but let's see what happens. So what we want to do here is we want actually to create a new database. And once you've defined the data structure, you will have to write rules to secure data. Start in locked mode. Make your database private by denying all reads. Get set up quickly by allowing all reads and writes. Client read-write access will be denied after 30 days if security rules are not updated. Alright, I think that we should... Anyone with your database relevant will be able to view, edit and delete all the data for 30 days. Should we start in locked or should we... I think we should go all in here and allow everybody to write something. So let's create this database and let's see how we can move forward and can bring that into a Next.js application. So here we see that we have already a URL for that. So let's move forward into the tutorial and see what happens here. Navigate to Cloud Firestore, blah, 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 blah. Okay, good for getting started. I decided test mode now, didn't I? Cool. So we should decide test mode here. Oh, no. Select the location for your database. Do we have to do that already? I'm not sure. And then click done. Okay. For your web development environment, we want to do web. And this is probably something that we want to do. You need manually to require both Firebase and Cloud Firestore. Okay, so let's go back into here. We already have something in here like this, which is import Firebase and import Firebase auth. So let's just quickly have a look if we have to... No, that looks like it's all the same dependency. So what I assume what we could do here too is we could... Let's see what we should do here. We have to initialize a client, and then we have a collection available, and then it looks like we can super easy peasy vote that one up. Okay. So how will we do this? So you see here a hook that I created last week, which was a use user. And maybe we should have something like use database too. I think this is a good idea to start. So let's add a new file here, which is like use should we call it Firestore maybe? Use Firestore.js. Cool, so let's bring that one in. I'm gonna move that to the right. Here we go. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. Use Firestore and use user. So let's bring these next to each other because I have to cheat for the structure of a custom hook. So what we want to do here is we want to do const use Firestore, and this should be a arrow function. Here we go. And with this, let me just do this so that it's formatted nicely. And then what we should probably do is we grab Firebase from here, and then we don't grab the auth module here, but what we do instead is that we bring in Firestore here. Cool. So, and with this, as we're dealing React, what we also want to do is we want to bring in use effect and probably use state. And we import these from React here. Nice. And then we have to, let me just check how we did this. Then we have to return something here, which is return, I would say, let's go with something like upvote. Yeah, let's just go with something like upvote. I think that makes sense. And then let's just define the function, which is something like const upvote. And then we go with maybe a URL for the start. And then let's see where we go with this. Here we go. And then we do just, let's do a manual counter for now and then let's see what's happened. So counter, let's bring in a counter object, upvotes. And this is just an empty object here. And whenever something is upvoted, we do upvote URL. Let's do const count equals, no wait, if not upvotes URL, we do upvotes URL equals 0, and then we do upvotes URL plus plus. And with this we maybe have a little let's call it a not use Firestore, let maybe use yeah, let's stick with the use Firestore for now. So what I'm expecting here to happen now is that when we now go, for example, to the page thing, what I expect that we could do here is, first of all, is that we could import this hook, which is like use Firestore, from going up, going up, going up, and then we go hooks, use Firestore. And that now we would be able, so let's have a look what we have here. Here we have the template that is available of all the articles. So what I'm aiming for is that we have a little button here, first of all, which is of type button because it should be a button. And then what I would like to do is on click upvote. Oh, you don't see that, huh? Upvote. Upvote. Here we go. Let me just move that up so that it's visible. Upvote. Upvote this article. And now we have some complaints here. So what's the problem? Is it capital C? So let's see what happens. So what I'm now expecting to be able to do is something like const upvote, and here we go with use Firestore. Oh, is it super laggy today? Is it, what is laggy? Is everything laggy, or is it, sound is okay? Or is it the webcam, or what is laggy? Kadrian. So what I'm assuming here is, yeah, I'm still figuring out my setup here. So my computer says, okay, René, hey René, welcome back. So let's see, so stream questions first. Is the sound okay? Is the video okay? Because I'm still have to figure out how to run all these kind of things. For me in my preview, it looks a little bit like the my head and the sound are not really in sync. All right, let's see. Last week, actually, my computer crashed, or my streaming software crashed, and I think that the reason for that was actually a CSS gradient. because all right, I'm gonna look into this the next time, and for now I'm just gonna move on here. But it does look like something is really crashing. All right, I'm just gonna move on, and if it's too bad, let me know. I'm not sure if I can do something about that though, at least right now. So what I'm assuming here is that I can use this custom hook that we just wrote, and that this should return a function which is upvote, and then it should, let's call these here votes maybe. And then we want to return votes too. So we do with votes and upvote. And we have then here votes and upvote too. And let's just log that out for now here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do JSON stringify votes for now. And onClick is still not nice. Is it onClick with a capital C? I'm pretty sure it's like this. All right, so let's see what happens here. So when we now go back, what we can do is there's an import error. It does not contain a default export because we're not exporting it. So we do export default use Firestore. Here we go. So let's see how this goes. So this is recompiling. All right, so when we now do this, nothing is happening for now, and we have an error here in the console already. Okay, it is a capital C. Okay. If it's too laggy, what I can do is what I have in running in the background is Snap Camera, and this eats a lot of. All right, let me just try something out here. What if we do this? And now I'm gonna kill Snap Camera. Here we go. Is it better, Karian? It looks like it is better here. Cool. So what we're gonna do now is that I have a custom hook, and hopefully the error message is gone here. It is not doing anything yet though. So what we would have to do is implement first of all the local functionality of upvoting all the articles, and then I would make it to actually pipe that into Firebase. So currently nothing is happening when we call upvote. So the first thing that I would do is I would have a fancy console log here. Let's see what is happening. Let's see if this is called. Here we go. So that is called, there's this nice, and currently we're not passing a URL to this whole thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call upvote here. And then we would have to find out what data is available here. We had this up here. So let's see if we have a title for that. So what this did is that it is fetching RSS feeds on page load. And what we would have to do here now is to figure out if there's a URL available. So for that, let me just very quickly see what data we have available here. So let's do console log, and I'm gonna log out the first one, which we're gonna do here. So when we now do a refresh, I should see something from Next.js in my console. Here we go, and here we have something available, which is a post. It is link. Cool. Yeah, link looks good. So what we could do here now is grab the link, and we also pass that link down. Yep, I can totally move that. Here we go. Is that better? Thanks. What I expect here is that I have a link available. So let's just have a look if we can print that out here. So when we now do a refresh, we should see at least some URLs. So let's see, that looks good, so that works. And then we're gonna call upvote with a link on that. So theoretically what could happen now is that when we click this, it is not updating the object yet, but at least I'm certain that we're calling the right thing. So let me call this one. So we are here already, and theoretically we should see logs with different URLs here. Yep, but URL, yeah, we have to call, we have to use state for the first time because it's not re-rendering. So what we want to do here is we want to call const votes set votes, and then we're going to go with an empty object for now. So we're going to do use state, something like this, because without use state, the whole thing will not be triggered, will not re-render the whole thing. So what we're going to do here is we're gonna, how do we do that? Could we just do, I'm not sure how it works with immutability here. So what we probably want to do is, I'm not sure. I'm a total stream noob, Cardrian. I will investigate how I can improve that. I'm not really sure how, if this is something that I can change on my end, to be honest, here right now. So what we could now do here is maybe something like set votes. I'm not sure if we would have to actually serialize and deserialize the object, because a lot of things in React deal with expect the concept of immutability, so that you're actually not allowed to do something like this, which is modifying objects. So usually you have to clone objects or do something like that, but I could, let's see where this goes now. So when we here now have a look, let's just log out the votes here. So when we go now here, so, whoop. Okay, something with the, yeah, we're missing, of course, the counting up part. So what we would have to do is plus plus. Does that work? Let's be safe here and let's do it like this. And let's see what happens now. Is it upvoting? Doesn't look like it. Let's do a refresh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that looks good in the console. It's behind me. So the counting mechanism seems to work, but it's not updating the state on top yet, obviously. And I assume that this is the same problem that I already mentioned, that I'm updating the object in line. So it is counting properly here, but it is not re-rendering, because I assume that React useState does a inline reference check here. So let's just do a very dirty quick hacks here. So let's go with const local votes, because we're not dealing with very heavy data structures here for now. So what we could do is local votes is JSON stringify, and I'm just really just cloning the object. So we stringify that, and then we parse the whole thing, and then let's see if that solves actually the problem. So when we go back here, it is counting up, but it is not doing anything here. So let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Still not rendering. Okay, the counting in the object actually works. So we have votes here, we have set votes, we have votes here, set votes. Oh, I'm not using the right thing. Ah, stupid me. So let's do it like this. Okay. So when we now try the same thing again, let's see what happens. Here we go. Nice. So what we have here now is already a little upvoting mechanism that is connected with the state of this whole thing. So when we now, let's just get rid of the JSON stringify here, because we see that it's working. So what we now could do is that we already could push the whole thing somehow into the Firebase database. So to see that it's still working, let's maybe add a href here first, which is link, and then we can paste the title here. I'm not really interested in the date right now anymore, so let's drop that for now. And what I would like to do is also, I would like to have, here we go, I would like to have, do we have votes here already? Here we have, cool. So what I would like to do is votes link to see the counter going inline up. So when we now go here, we do a refresh, we should already see a counter going up. Here we go. Nice. So that's already pretty cool, I think. So what we could do now is figure out how we can store this whole thing in Firebase. So does not work anymore with my light bulbs, huh, René? Is it broken now because I changed cameras? Oh no, it still works. All right. But Celebrate doesn't work anymore because I switched, turned off Snap Camera. So that's over. Cool. So what we can now do is we can figure out how we could actually count that up in Firebase. So let's figure that one out. So when we now go back in here, I assume that we have figured that one out already. Then we would have to initialize the app and do something with Firestore. So okay, so and we should do this in use Firestore. So let's do this. Let's bring in the database, and then let's see what should we do. We should define a collection, and then we can actually Okay. So should we create a database first here? Let's see. We have here a database. First of all, we need to find these API keys here somewhere. So let's see. And I'm skipping one track here for a moment because that's not my kind of thing. So where do we find API keys? Is that written in the documentation somewhere? Cloud Firestore. The values for init can be found in your web apps Firebase config. Okay, in your web apps Firebase config. Okay, I'm going back here. And here we have, was that the config? Let's go to, that is a very good question, René. I'm not sure. So we could pipe it obviously through a function. Via Vercel. Firebase is made to use in the client side and the front end though. So I'm not really sure if we would need that in that case. So I would make it work in the client first, and then we could see if we should move it to a function at later stage. Cool. So Firebase API key, Firebase auth domain, Firebase Firestore project ID. Okay. I feel like the main problem is really just like finding things here. So let's see what we have here. API key, auth domain, project ID. We had some things already in use user. We have an API key, auth domain, and project ID. I think we can. I think these should be first of all somewhere else. So let's clean that up for a moment. And I think I still assume that these are valid to be used in public. So let's create a new file here, and I know that Vercel expects local files, so if we want to, so let's just let's figure that one out. Environment variables Next.js. Let's see. So environment variables. Cool. So this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to add a new environment variable so that I can get rid of these hard-coded values here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fetch all these things from process env. So let's go back here, and this will be, let's grab all the stuff from process env. So we're going to do pros firebase. That's a little bit of monkey work here now, but you have to do what you have to do. And then we do process env here. And then we have, let's make that a little bit shorter. Firebase API key, Firebase auth domain, Firebase database URL, Firebase project ID, Firebase storage, almost there, storage bucket, and Firebase Firebase messaging sender ID, messaging sender ID, and the last one app ID. Cool. Firebase app ID. So let's save that one. Now potentially what we can do is we can already paste these over to env local. Here we go. So let's remove all the spaces here for a moment, and we can replace all these things with an equal already. And now keyboard magic, let's see if that works. What we can do is we can do this and this. And now I assume that we could do potentially this. Nice. Editor power here. So what we now can do is potentially we could also copy these, and we're gonna bring them in here. Oh, I missed the comma. Fair enough. Here we go, here we go, here we go. So when I now go back to my terminal and we restart the whole thing, then hopefully the logging mechanism still works. So let's find out if that's still working. So when I go back here, just to figure out if we broke something. It's rebuilding. All right, let's see. Process is not defined. Well, that is great. Where do we get process from? What? So where are we here? We are process env, and we are here in the use user hook. So what we're gonna do is, process is not defined. Define an env local. I think this is what we have, env local. Yeah. This loads process env in the Node.js environment automatically allowing to use them in Next.js data fetching methods and API routes. Oh. But we are dealing with the client here. So use user currently is really, I assume that this whole thing actually renders properly. Yeah. So the server side works, but it's the client side that is complaining about that now. Where do we place that then? It's just, Okay, so we have to access process somewhere in the Node.js context. So when we go back here, here's where we use user. How does that work in general? It cannot be only this loads, but I want to have it in the client too. Next group will expand variables. Yeah, that is cool. Exposing environment to the browser. Okay. Aha. So this is basically what we're looking for. And this is available. In order to expose a variable to the browser, you have to prefix the variables with next public. Okay. So let's go to env local and let's do next public here. Oh, these are very, very beautiful, very beautiful keys here. Oh my God. And then this loads process into the Node.js environment automatically. They will be now just work. Okay, let's see. So what we want to do here is now, these are now all next public, and these are all next public too. Let's see if it's still the same problem now. So when we go back here, we can see if it refreshes. Let's see. Yeah, but it's complaining about process not being defined. Into the Node.js environment automatically. I want to use it everywhere in your code. The value will be inlined into JavaScript, sent to the... Do we maybe have to refresh now because we changed the environment variables? That could be. All right, so let's see what happens here now. Try single process env. Yeah, but the problem is that process is not defined in this context here. So it doesn't matter what I want to access here. I think the problem is really that, yeah, process is not there. And how is it? And the documentation says that this here should be will be replaced automatically by the build process from Next.js. Next public can be used here as it's prefixed by next public. Next public analytics. So let's see, next public FB. And we have the env here available, next public. Should we see if it is when we just log it out here, and let's see what happens here. So let's see, CLG process env. This should give us at least a log into, yeah, okay. So these are available here. Now they only would have to be inside of the front-end JavaScript. Okay, so let's see, use user. Maybe it's not happy with the destructuring. What happens if we do this? We drop that for the moment, because I really assume that the Next.js build process changes this to actual values. Here we go. Okay, so that doesn't work because what Next does then, obviously during the build and when it creates all these JavaScript assets, is that it's looking for a simple string replace here. So we can drop this one, which is actually fairly smart. I like that. So what we could now do is we could still be able to log in and log out. So let's see, log in, log out, refresh. Sweet. So that still works. And when we now go to posts 1, let's see. Okay, we're back on the next error, but this is expected. So what we're gonna do now is we need an API key, we need an auth domain, and we need a project ID. And I assume API key, we have that one here. We need a auth domain, which we have here. And then what's the last one? Project ID, which I think we also have here. Nice. So let's see what happens with this one now. So when we go back, we're gonna do Firebase app name default already exists. Where is the default coming from? Firebase app name default already exists. So we're here in the real-time database, I think. Yeah, let's Google that one. I have no clue where the default is coming from. Oh, Versal next issues. Nice. Cool. So this is again the reloading problem. So we have, what happens is basically that with a React hot reloading, it's initializing the same thing several times. And when we have a look at how we did the authentication here, we had basically the same thing here. It was, I totally should clean that up. So it should, and these lines probably should also be in one thing here. But let's do that a little bit later. So what we're gonna do here is that this should now maybe resolve the problem because we're not initializing the app several times after reloading things. So when we now go here, well, that looks like we don't have an error. We still are able to count things. This is just in local memory. So when I do now a refresh, this all should be gone. So when we now, now we actually could connect this to Firebase. So let's see how we should do this. So we get a database. Okay. Let's just try this and see what happens. So database collection users add. So what do we have in Firebase? We have, I have no idea what's happening now, but let's just add this thing inside of our, can this be an ASIC function here? So let's just do this. DB collection add Ada Lovelace born 85. Okay. So when we now go back to our Next.js application, what we expect is that when I close this and I go to the network panel, first of all, there should be some requests or something flying. So let's clean that one up. Okay. Okay, there's stuff happening. When we now go to the database, still null. Do we have to add something here? Is that here a database, or do I have to add a database? What happens when I do this? No, I don't want to church. Okay. I'm not sure what a collection is here. Is there something? So we did this, and it seems like that this is working. Do we have some errors in the console? Nope. So that looks okay-ish. So no errors in the console. Bam, bam, bam. There's some stuff happening when we click the button. But nothing in the console. Cloud Store stores data and documents which are stored in collections. Cloud Firestore creates collections. Are we in Firestore here? Oh, maybe I'm in the wrong one. Cloud Firestore. Oh, I think I'm in the wrong one. Create a database. Let's do that. Test mode. Okay. Your data will be opened by default. Cool. Yeah, let's do that. Cloud Firestore location. Yeah. I don't care. Okay. So now we have... Thank you, Fossey. Yeah, I was on the wrong one. So let's see what happens now. Yeah, I think this should be also be awaited then, but let's see what happens here. Okay, so I have no idea what the difference between Firestore and real-time database is now. So if someone knows that, I would love to be enlightened. Cool, so what we could do here now is let's create a collection. This now makes a little bit more sense. So a collection of users would contain unique document for each users. So what we probably want to do is till post, I guess. So when we now create this one, oh sweet. So we have a field which we call URL, we have a type string, and we have something like upvotes, type number. Is that a default value? 0, an empty string. Ah, I'm creating a document here already. Aha, alles klar. Cool, so let's save that one. Aha, okay, so now I have a collection with... Aha, so now I have a collection with till posts, and I have a document, so which now means that db collection till posts add, and here we have URL, and we don't need this one, and let's just bring in a, maybe upvotes should be an array with the people that actually upvoted. That would be cool. So let's call that upvoters, and here we bring in, just for now, random Fossey, 3, and the name. So let's see what happens now when we go back here, and when we click something here. Did that do something? Okay, let's see. So I'm expecting now... Nice! So that's cool. Oh, that's super nice actually. So it seems like that this now... Okay, so we have here now 2 documents, and basically what we could do is we could... Can I delete that document? That was... Delete document. Yeah. So and here we have now a field of upvoters, which is an array of people. Then we could have a count with the number of people or email addresses that did that, and then the URL to this one. I think that works. So the question there now is, we don't how do we get all the data out then all the time? Okay, so that worked. Okay, we're past that. And then we want, actually what we want to do is we want to get all the till posts that have an entry. Okay. So let's grab this one and let's... What is that returning? Is that returning a single piece or a lot of pieces. Let's see what happens here. So we already have state available. And I think that it's probably time to update that to till posts and set till posts, maybe. Let's do that a little bit later. Let's see if we can fetch the data first. So to fetch the data, what we probably need is a fact hook. And what we're going to do in here is doing this. And let's just copy that here for a moment so that we can move on with the world. So let's till posts and set till posts. And this will start with an empty array here. So what we're going to do in the use effect hook is that we're going to fetch till posts. And then we get the query snapshot. And this is already logging stuff. So let's see what happens here now. Okay, so when we go here and we open the console, it is logging one document. And it's doing doc data. So it's stringifying the whole thing. So I guess we have to do this again to see if we're dealing with the right data. All right, so we have one till post in there. So what we could now do is potentially is till post get. I think we should add a to do here to figure out, is that all of them? Because probably with the collection grows, we have to figure out how to paginate things or how to find certain things there. So let's figure that one out. So what we can do here is we have obviously an array of snapshots. So what we want to do here is set till posts. And what we want to do here is query snapshot. And then we're gonna map this. And this returns as a document. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna return doc data. What's the problem here? Map does not exist. Huh. Are there typings for this, or is it just guessing that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's see what happens when we now do this. So when we go back, okay. So what we're gonna do is, so this seems to be like a weird, like a Firebase object. Even though it has for each, it doesn't necessarily means that it is an array. So what I'm gonna do is gonna do const till posts empty array, and then for every item here I'm gonna do till posts push doc data, and then we're iterating over everything here, and then potentially we could do till posts component. We can grab that one here and let's see if something is coming back nicely here. Okay. So what we can do is JSON stringify again. Debugging of Stefan here. JSON stringifying all the things. Till posts. Let's do a refresh. That looks good. Nice. I think that's cool. So with this, we would have till posts. And then we would probably need something like upvote till post. Need here is upvote till post. And then we would need a different function here, which is const upvote till post. And this would do async What should that get here? So the question is if we just want to, should we do upvote till post by user, and then we do something like till post ID and user, and then we do something in here, and yeah, I think we should do it like this. So what we now would have to do is that we would have to iterate over the collection and find the till post, add email to till post, and then save the whole thing. All right, so what we want to do here is first of all, what we need to upvote things. Upvote till post not defined. Yeah, give me a moment here. Upvote till posts. No, till posts singular. Upvote. Yeah, let's go with this. Save that, and go with this. And to do that, what we have to do first is we have to bring in the user. So let's go back in here and let's bring in this buddy. And this is another hook, which we already used here somewhere. So we're gonna do import use user from hooks use user. Now the S, and now wait, where are we? Cool. No, so now we potentially have a user here. And I would have to oh, sweet. Then let's change that. Thanks for the hint, René. So let's go. So one step at a time. So first of all, what we would need to do is we want to grab the user, and we only should show the buttons if there's a user available. So what we're going to do here is user, and then we do only show this button if we have a user available. Does not contain. We have a problem here. Hooks use user is not defined. Oh, it's like this. Okay. Here we go. What? Oh, I'm not following my own convention here. That is terrible. So let's have a look at use user. What does it return? Or exports? Yeah, let's fix that very quickly. Let's do it like this. Export use user, export default use user. Then we can do it like this. And then in the index page, we can also drop these. Here we go. So hopefully we now are back on track with this one. So let's see what happens. Failed to compile. Can't resolve. Hooks use user. Where are we here? Page. Because I'm missing. Here we go. Okay. Objects are not valid as React child with keys if you meant to render. So where are we here? Objects are not valid as a React child found object with keys, ID, email, token. So that looks like the user. If you meant to render a collection of children, use an array instead. Okay, so it looks like that my little OR operator doesn't work here. So let's do this. Is there a nice way to do this these days in React? So this now should do the trick. Cool. So that now means as we only have the login button on the index route, when we log out and we go back to posts, page 1, we shouldn't see the buttons anymore. Nice. And when we now go back here and we log in, we should have the upvoting buttons available. So we now go to posts 1, we should have the buttons. Nice. So when we now go back here, what we want to do is we want to first of all upvote till by user. Upvote till by user, and how did we structure it? Till post ID and user. I think we should just stay with, yeah, the logic should be somewhere else. So we do go with user email here. And we're just dealing with the URLs here. So this now, when we go back to our function here, this will not till post ID, but this will be URL. And then we can have the logic in here. So question is then, how do we update something in a document in the secure your data? Where's the API documentation of that? I'm just looking for... Okay, updating data. Okay, so we... Should we... Okay, so we have... What we would have to do first is we would have... What we have available is till posts. So what we would have to do is find first of all, the particular posts. So here we're gonna go till posts, find, and then we have, let me just log out the data structure. Is it still logged the data structure? Yeah. So we have URL and upvoters. Okay. So what we would like to do here is const till posts equals till posts find, and then we destructure that. We have a URL here available, and here we go URL shit. Okay, let's do till post, and then we do till post URL equals URL. Is array.find returning a single thing, or how does it work? Array.find JavaScript. Let's see. If you need the index, no, this is not. Returns the value of the first element. Oh no, that actually works. Returns the value of the first element in the provided array that satisfies the provided testing function. Okay, so with this we have a till post available. And now what we could do is we could go back to oh, did I lose the next steps? Here we go. So array prototype find did the job. And what we now could do is we could get the city ref. Okay, let's give that a try. That doesn't look too bad. So what we could do now here is let's see. So first of all, let's have a look if till post is what we expect here. So when we now go back to the console, we have here GraphQL Playground offers something, which is this one. Cool. So this now has URL and upvoters. So this is clearly the one that we're looking for. So what we want to do and I expect that if I click another one, it's undefined. Sweet. So what we want to do is, if it's not till post, then we're going to do this one. If not till post, and then we can also return that. Return collection add URL upvotes. User. And right now this is dealing with email addresses. That should probably not be the case to deal with email addresses, but let's see where we go with this one. So if it's not till post, we're gonna exit there. If it is available, how do we get the... We also need the ID to fetch and update. So this looks like it's fetching documents by its ID, which means that in the collection that I have available here, which is till post, I would have to have the ID too. So when we now go back to till post, we're gonna push doc data, and we're gonna spread that in, but I'm also interested in, let's see if that works on first try. Doc ID, is that a thing? Doc ID, yeah, nice. So let's see where we're going with this one now. Sweet. So what we can now do is we can use this line already. Const till post ref. It's the same collection, probably this. We should clean that up, the duplication here. Clean up repetition of collection. So what we have here now is we can grab the document with till post ID. And then what is that? Set with merge. This is now till post ref. And here we're gonna do upvoters. And here we do, is it? Let's see if it merges arrays automatically. And here we do users merge true. Okay, what's the next step? Is that it? Should we wait for a result or something? I think we should actually replace this whole... Yeah, let's see what happens now. Okay, so when we now go back to today-i-learned.dev, here we have the data collection that we're dealing with right now. So when I now upvote this, nothing is happening. Well done, Stefan. Again, the button that doesn't do anything here. Nice. Okay. Collection till posts. Good call. Whoops. Okay, let's have a look at what do we have here. Okay, now we have a bunch of documents. I think, can I clear the database? Okay, and is it now creating a new database when I click the button? So when we now refresh this, we would have to deal with exactly 0. It treats the empty case, which is nice. I clicked the button, did something happen? So we now go back here. Okay, we have till posts. Well, that seems to work. Okay, but looks like we still have some users hanging around in this file here. So let's have a look where users is. Nothing. And what else is in there? Cities. That's probably just a... Yeah, that's a leftover. Okay, so let's remove the cities here. Cities. And I also don't want to deal with users, I assume. So let's see where we're going with this one. So now we have the till posts. Here we have the post input of type, date, support, min, max attributes, which is exactly the first one. Is that now? Here we go. And when we now do this, we should have two. Yeah, nice. That seems to work. What happens now when I click this button again? Is it treating the array collection nicely? So when I now do... It looks like it's merging properly. Well, that would be super nice if it just ignores that. Yeah, nice. Cool. So what we would have to do now is that we would have to update the till post collection. So let's just clean up a little bit here. So what we not need anymore is votes, because we have figured that one out. So we can drop this one. So let's see if there are some more votes here. Upvote is gone now too, because we are already dealing with Firebase. So votes. Sweet, now we can go back into the page that is using that, because votes and upvotes are not available anymore. Nice. So with this, we would have to update the till post collection that we have here. Should we just refetch the whole thing and make that a function? I mean, we could just... How would you usually connect these kind of things? I mean, what we do right now is that we have this collection till posts. Let's clean that up for a moment. So, const till post collection, and let's grab this one to clean the repetition here. Now we can replace that everywhere. Oh, one too much. Yeah, okay. So the question is, I mean, it seems like we can get rid of this to do. It seems like that this works fine. So we are merging things here, which is also cool. But then we would have to update this array that we manually fetched from Firebase. So how would we do that? Because we would have to deal with this whole immutability thing again. We could do something like... What is this here? Let's have a look at what set with merge is here. Is there data available? So let's have a look here. Votes is not defined. Votes, so we can drop this one. Okay, so when we now click something here, we see that this first of all is a promise. So let's await this one. Let's see what happens then. When I click the button, well, undefined, and that is that is unfortunate here. Oh, oops. So let's try that one again. Still undefined. It looks though. npx, so it's storing the data. Let me just make that a little nicer to read so that we can follow along. So You can pass, does not work. Oh. Does that work? Just so that it's, so white spaces in HTML usually don't work. Here we go. So we here now have 1, 2, 3, 4 posts. And what these should do is, let's clear the collection again, so that we see what we're dealing with. So 4 till posts, let's delete the collection. Here we go. So this should now be empty. Yeah, when we now have 1. The data that is stored in, why is that not updating here? I thought this is a real-time thing. So this has upvoters. Should we not merge? Should we just replace? Is there a replace function? I think that would make things a little bit easier. So when we René, you mean a complete reload to get back the state? I would like to avoid that because I would like to have the UI update automatically. So where are we here? So we have doc. How do we replace something? Is it just set? Yeah. Yeah, let's do it like this. Let's go for a normal set. So what we're going to do is the following. So if there's a till post, then we grab the till post, and then we have, what was the structure that we have? Upvoters, till post, upvoters, push, and we have the user, and then we're gonna call set, and we're gonna do, well, that's not gonna be pretty, but let's see where we go with this. So what we wanted to do here is we have URL here, and we have upvoters here. Till post, upvoters, and till post URL. And then we have this body here, which means that what we would have to do is we want to do set till posts, and what we're going to do here is we should probably have an immutability library or something. What we're going to do here is till posts map till post. Well, that's not cool. Stored till post. And then we're going to do, because I just want to replace the entry in the array that we're dealing with. So if stored till post, and otherwise return stored till post. And this is not returning anything, so we don't have to store that in a variable. So let's see where we go with this. All right, we have one post here. which is inputs of types. Okay, that's the first one. Well, that works great. So let's see. Okay, it's not, something is not right in the logic here. What we have now is the same document. So we have here how to tell, inputs, and how to tell. Okay, that's not great. So I think it is time for the debugger. So what we do here is, if not, add it. Let's see. So I'm gonna clean the database first, and then we're gonna go through that step by step. Till posts, gonna go with that. And then let's go through this. Cool. Oops, I actually clicked the link. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is here, I'm gonna click this. Now we're in the debugger. All right, so this should now add a new. What? What is happening here? So let me just move that a little bit further so that this is visible. Well, that was not successful at all here. Oh my god. So we now have one entry in there already. So what we do here is, yeah, we're in the right place, and I would like to step over it. Okay, thank you. So this now should be a tilt post. It looks like, well, it looks like the debugging experience is not really working here. So let's do a refresh, let's see. Because it's not actually stepping over the things. So what we're gonna do is... No, I don't want to do that. So here we go. Can we see tilt posts here somewhere? Here we go. So we have here, tilt post is defined. Yeah, but the debugger seems not to work like at all. This is great. Okay, so we can actually drop the debugger because it's not showing us what we want to see, which is a bummer. But why is that working now? What? Are the documents automatically kept in sync somehow? That should not work like at all. So if all we do... Wait. I'm confused. Why is this working? And why is the other one not working? Okay, let's do the other one first. Okay, this for a new post, this is obviously not working. So let's have a look at this. Const new till posts equals, and it should be this. And then we're gonna lock that one out. Here we go. And then we can set till posts, new till posts. Here we go. So let's see what we're dealing with here. Okay. So I'm gonna clean up the database again. Let's do that one again. Here we go. And now we're gonna refresh that one. with an empty database. And now when we open the console here, because the debugger is unfortunately not working, when we do this, we are not hitting actually. Okay, we never make it. I assume we're stuck on this one. Could that be? Isn't that returning a promise? So it looks like this is holding us. Right, we're in a different case here. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so let's clean that one up. Here we go. Okay, step by step. So, if it is not available, we add it to the collection. Wait, I'm confused for a moment. We have till post collection, which is our own array of the data that we get from the... thanks, René, by the way. So we have till post collection. Till post collection is our database. Okay. Okay, so my naming is terrible here. So till post collection. Should we rename that to till post Firebase collection, just so that I remember that one? Okay. So when there's no posts, then we add it to Firebase. And then we do set till posts. And then we do till posts and this body here. Is add returning an ID? Because we need the ID. Set a document. Is that returning something here? Till post. Stored post. Let's see. Console log stored post. Alright, so when we now go back, what do we have here? Nothing. Okay. This is not giving us what we want, I think. Okay, I think it's time to go again step by step here. I think I got ahead of myself. So if there's not a post, then we add it to the collection and then this should happen. So let's see. So this is inputs of type. Okay, this is the first one. And this is the return of creating an entry. How would I get the idea of this now? This is, I mean, add docref ID. So here we now have how to tell and inputs. Okay. Okay. So this seems to be the idea. It just looks very, very not that great. So what we could now do is we could have ID, stored post ID, and then we have this stuff here, which we should clean up. Const post data equals this. I'm missing a curly here. Nice. So and then we can do post data. And then we can spread this one in here. Post data. Okay. So this should now be the case. So when we move on here and I upvote the fourth one, it should... That looks good. The navigation works. Sweet. So that is cool. So what we should do next is go to the other point, which... So we can return here because the job is done. Okay. If we have a till post, then we want to push the new email address to the upvoters. That's cool. Then we grab the ID of that one. That's cool too. Then we override the whole thing of that. That is also cool. And then we would have to update the new posts, which is annoying. And then we do this thing. So for me, this actually looks not too bad. So when we go now here back, let's clean up the Firebase Firestore thingy again. So, oh no, actually we don't need to clear it. So when I now press the first button, there you go. So it was not that bad after all. Yeah. Seems to work. Cool. So that is already something. But did I pick the wrong database here? I thought that we're doing real-time stuff and such. So with this, what we basically have is the functionality to store voters. So let's get rid of this. And what we could now do potentially here is display also this information. And what we can do here is so let's what I would like to do is I would like to display the voter count. So what we could do, oh, that's a good idea, René. That's a very nice idea. Yeah, so let's switch the auto-generated ID to setting an ID. How will we do that? So can I do like this, huh? Nice. Cool. Yeah, let's do that. I think that's great. So back to square one. So what we would like to do is then we also could do things a little different. Okay. So what we could do is, assuming that we're dealing with IDs, we could make that actually an object. And then we could do till posts ID, and then we could say doc data here, so that we don't have to iterate over the object all the time. So that would be actually nice. So that would be doc ID, and then we just do this till posts. Why is this complaining? Because it's an array initially. So what we can now do is we can define this as an object. And then we can drop this one here because we can deal with till posts URL, which is nice. Then if this is not the case, now we can drop the URL from the data. And how's the add syntax? DB collection doc. Okay, then we could do doc URL and to post data. And now, wait till doc, what was it? Set. Yeah. That looks cool. And then we could do oh, that is beautiful. That is a very good idea. So now what we could do is we could spread in till posts here, and we spread in an object with the URL and post data. Something like that. Oh yeah, then we can only await this one. Okay. Woo, that is a nice refactoring here, what we're doing. So then we have till posts, upvoters push the user in. This then is URL. Then we can drop this one. And actually we don't need to push this, because what we can do now is we can do till post upvoters and then user here, which means that we can drop this line. And then we could do the same thing here, which we spread in the till posts, and then we spread in URL and till post. Okay, now I lost a little bit track here what I'm doing. So we get the ref, we set the new data. So let's define the post data here, which is this. Now we do this post data. Now we can get rid of the whole mapping, and then we spread in the properties of till posts, and we have the URL here, which then should be post data. And I think we should rename till posts now. Can I rename that in VS Code to till post map? Maybe till post map, and set till posts set till posts map. Oh, that was a lot of code that we shifted around. Let's see how much is broken here actually. But now I need back the logger here. Cool. So let's see what happens here now. We haven't. Okay. So let's clean up the database and let's go over it step by step. Till posts. Here we go. So when we now go with this one, we should have an empty array, no, an empty object. When we refresh this, when we add one here, bottoms, Invalid segment. Paths must not contain slashes in them. Well, so much. That is a bummer. Now that we shifted so much code around, René. Paths must not contain double slashes. So let's see if we could hopefully, let's hope that we can just remove. Let's hope that we can remove the HTTPS and call it a day, and that it's not complaining about the slashes actually afterwards. So we have here our upvote function. So what we would to do here is const id equals URL replace. Hey Madalena, Viking is broken, unfortunately. Viking doesn't work today. So we're gonna replace this one, and now we can let's go with till post ID. Here we go. So this is one. Here we go. Here we go. And here we go. Yeah, unfortunately my computer struggles with snap camera and streaming in the same one. So I have to investigate that on the weekend. Okay. Failed to compile. Oh, Stefan, what's up? Failed to compile. Here we go. Okay, let's see what happens. But it look at this one. It takes this one. It just doesn't like the HTTPS with the double slash. So, and it works that we can add steps now. So the only thing that doesn't work is this part here. So let's go over that one for a moment. When we, so let's see. Come on, what's going on? Oh, maybe it doesn't work. Okay. So the getting the post doesn't work. So with till posts for each thing. Do we have things in the database now? So let's see. Okay, here we have the key. What do I see here now? Yeah. So we cannot use. So the way it works is that it's a collection in a collection. It's in a collection. Okay, so we have to replace HTTPS and we have to replace any slash actually. So let's do it like this. And let's clean that one up because that's not gonna bring us anywhere here right now. So let's delete that one. So when we now do a refresh here, so let's see what happens. Bow. Invalid document reference. Document references must have an even number of segments, but till post has three. What? I don't understand. Where are we here? We are before the wait here. 27, yeah. So let's log that one out. Let's clean the console. Oh, Is replace all the thing these days? It's always... Here we go. Okay. So this seems to work. So we added 3 things to Firebase here. Yeah, so that works. Success! But this part is not working yet. So if there's no till post, then we do this. If not, we have the ID. So assume that we are good here now. So when we do a refresh here, what we see is 3 posts. How to preload, how to tell. Yeah, that is cool. So what we would have to do now is, let me just open another drink here. We use the till post ID, so that should work fine. And then we define the post data. And then we update the whole map. That looks okay to me, to be honest. So let's have a look here. What do we get? We're gonna log out the till post ID. We're gonna log out the post data, and we're gonna log out. Should we log out the whole thing? Maybe even. Here we go. So let's see what we got. So here we have the 3 votes, and when we look at this, well, I think we're stuck again. Okay. I assume that we are stuck before this awaits. No. Aha. So we have to change this condition first. Here we go. Because we are now dealing with an object and the IDs are actually these. Okay, so let's do that one again. Nice! It was a very good idea, René, to change that to URLs here. That is pretty nice. Oh man, I'm excited about this. Sweet. So as it's already 10:30 my time here, so there's one last thing that I would like to do which is I would like to let's bring in something like a new file in utils maybe. Naming is so terrible. So let's do const get till post ID, and then we do URL here, and then we just return URL. Come on, what's that? URL replace, what did we do? HTTPS with an empty string, and then replace all slashes with dashes, and then we do export const till post ID. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go to use Firestore, and here we're going to do import from OneUp util, what did I call it? get till post ID, get till post ID from utils. Oh, let's rename that to utils. So util. Oh, that was sweet. VS Code figured that I update the folder. That's nice. So and what we now use, we use this helper here, which is here get till post ID with URL, like this. What? Okay, we have something wrong here, so let's do it like this. Alright, so theoretically the whole thing now still works. Oh, I removed the log too quickly, Stefan. So let's bring back the log. Okay, so that looks cool. What did I do? So let's go back to use Firestore, get till post ID from URL, and then we would have to update the utils. This is not an object. What we want to do here now is that now should work. Get till post ID from URL. Yeah, fixed the destructuring already. Get till post ID from URL. So that now should what's your problem here? Has no default export. Ah, so this is correct. Here we go. Okay, that didn't seem to work properly. Get till post ID from URL, get till post ID from URL, return URL, replace. Again, replace all? Man, Renee, you're a big helper here. Oh my goodness. Oh, same error. Twice. Okay, so let's clean that up. We're on the finish line for today. So let's do a refresh here. Let's do this one. Nice. That seems to work now. Sweet. Okay, so what we can do now is we can go back into the thing here, and what we can do is we can bring in a counter which does so let's see what do we, let's bring that home here. I'm getting excited. So what we can export here now is not, we're gonna export the till posts map. Now this should complain on the other end. Till posts map here. Here we go. Now what we want to do is we want to log out till posts map, and we bring in the same util here, which is import from utils, and here we have get till post from ID. URL. Oh, no, this shouldn't be these because we're dealing with an object, so there has to be square brackets. And then we're gonna go with, what did we call it? We did call it upvoters. Upvoters, and then we do upvoters length. And URL is not URL here, it's link. Okay, this now could potentially throw because sometimes upvoters is not exactly. Okay, so let's do let's do it like this. We're gonna check if it's available. This is not pretty. Oh, I'm writing a lot of not performing code here. I don't like that. So if it is, if this is defined, then we do this and we show it. Let's do it like this. A span is around it. And otherwise we're gonna return a 0. All right, let's see. 00003. Okay, that's cool. Oh, I dig it. Super, super, super nice. So we can get rid of this one. And what we now have, we have integrated. Did it work? Yeah, we have integrated today-i-learned.dev. So what is possible right now is that you can go to the home URL, you can log in, log out with Firebase. If you're logged in, you can go to post pages. The posts that you see there currently are RSS fetched posts. And what you can now do is when you're logged in, you can upload these kind of things, which then results to being included in Firebase. You see here that we're currently not dealing with duplicates, but that's okay for this stage. And I think the last thing that we now should really do, because I'm very excited about this actually, is that we should go here and that we should try to deploy this thing. If it takes longer than 10 minutes, then I'm gonna postpone this, but I think it should work quite quickly. So let's do just install the Versal CLI. How do I get it? Is it, here we go. So let's install that one quickly because I assume that we could just push that up. All right, so what do we have? We have Versal minus help. Probably I have to log in first because it looks like that in this node version, you see here, probably, maybe you see that, but I'm switching node versions quite often. So let's just do a Versal login first. All right, so they now sent me an email. So let me open my email thing. Okay. So let's see if I got that. Come on, Gmail. So they now sent me URL to verify. So I'm gonna copy that URL and let's open that because I think the login flow on Versal is actually quite nice. So with this, email address confirmed, and I assume that we're now logged in. Nice! So what we want to do now is, let's have a look at Versal. Let me kill my email program again, because we don't need it. Let's see what we have available here. Well, should we just try to deploy? First time deploy. We're getting ready here. Build command npm run build. Output directory next.js default development command. Yeah, I don't think we should overwrite something here. Okay, in the same time, what we can do is we can go to Versal and have a look what's happening there. So let's log in. Not dealing with contentful stuff here. Okay, here we have our deployment running. Okay, the question is if we could push potentially somehow environment variables up. René, you've been... yeah, so there are two things. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago when... Oh no, it actually built. Okay, yeah, so that would be the next step. I'm looking, let's just find out if we can sync up the local keys to production somehow. Include enforce during runtime. Secrets. Because I'm looking for a way to just push them up actually. Versal CLI push and because I don't want to copy and paste things here now. Versal env. Can I push? That would be cool. So let's see. Versal env push. Path to... Yeah, I think we have to copy and paste them over manually. And that's a bummer. Okay, so where do we go here? We go to... Out of the deployments, we go to settings. Environment variables. Okay, copy and pasting starting. So we're gonna go here. Oh. At least the music is chilly right now. Let's see if I make a mistake on the way. Oh, that didn't look great. Copy. Paste. Project ID. Almost there. Sender ID. Ah, we didn't use bunch of these things. Let's see if we use that later. And then FID. Here we go. Okay, can we now go to deployments and just redeploy? Does that work? Let's just kick it off again here. Oh, I love this tooling that we have these days. All right, let's see what's happening here. Oh, I like that chill track here. I think that's good. Is it not using the environment variables here? So we're basically having the same error. And project ID must be a string in Firebase options, and I'm pretty certain that this is then the reason. Maybe we should try to pull down the variables to see if that actually works. And what was a pull? And file created. Yeah. Did the whole copy and paste did not work? So let's go back. Did I copy and paste it in the wrong spot? We were in settings, environment variables. Oh, we did it to production. Does that matter? Do we have to do versal deploy prod? Yeah, let's go for it. Okay, deployments. Nice. It's building. Oh. Replace all is not a function. Let's see if it succeeds. I think it has problems with some URLs. Because it's maybe not included. Okay. I assume that in certain cases that URL in the RSS feeds will be not available. So what we could do is if URL do you will replace, and otherwise we're gonna do just a very dirty thing here right now. We bring in the string with math random because I want to see the deployment. No URL in post. Okay, let's give that another try. Okay, so that's my last try today. I think the progress was already pretty nice. Hey Niels, how's life? Auth works. Yeah, auth works. It was missing a weight somewhere. Still the same problem here. All right, I think it's time to wrap up. Yeah, let's call that a day here. Okay, so let's just sum up what we got because Niels just joined. So what we did is that auth is working. So when you now go to the index route, it's only going, auth is only implemented on index right now. So what's happening here is basically the same. What the? Okay. So basically what's happening is that you can log in, you can log out. This uses Firebase authentication. You can refresh here. So the problem that we had last week was literally just a weight that was missing somewhere. But when you now go to posts and the pagination, what we now have are still the RSS feeds, and a logged in user is now able to vote on certain things. So what you see here is that I can upvote here, I can upvote here, I can upvote here, and this is persisted in Firebase. In Cloud Firestore, I have some reading to do about the differences between all these kind of things. But this is now persisted. We just quickly tried to deploy the whole thing, but I think there's something wrong with the RSS feeds and such. But the only thing that I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do remove the end file first. I'm gonna remove the end file, and I'm gonna add this all in here. Let's do add database. So this is now all available here. I'm just gonna paste this one into the chat. So, and I think this is already a pretty decent progress. I think for what we could do next week, I'm very open for ideas. I think that I like to see this looks so terrible. So at some point I have to make that pretty. But I think that maybe we could actually drop the RSS idea and allow people to submit a web dev today I learned, and we could extend this whole thing to have something like we can. I've never done emotion, Niels, but we can totally do that. So should we maybe build a little Reddit here just for today I learned posts, so that people can submit their learnings, and then we drop the RSS feed. So I would be completely up for that. If you have ideas or things on how we could make that happen, I'm up for accepting issues or things. So the code is online here. And yeah, thanks René for pointing out that replace and replace all are not the same things. I think that's something that I have to level up on. And yeah, overall I think that went pretty well. And thanks everybody for joining. That's it.